Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Top Hat Gaming Man here, and I would like to have an argument, please.
Okay. I didn't know how this was going to start, but okay. What would you like to have an argument about?
I would like to have an argument about the original Xbox, please.
Okay, and how exactly are you
I hate it. I really hate it.
Why?
I feel like it was the downfall of gaming, and it's kind of it was the first console that helped push towards the current narrative in gaming.
And that is?
Ugly, grey games which tend to all look the same. The birth of the AAA title.
Yeah, I can kind of agree with that and the fact that it has been overused. But at the time, it wasn't overused. It was kind of the birth of that. So at the time, it was new. Now you're annoyed about it.
Okay.
But at the time you weren't.
Whilst I said I hate it, that's a lie. I don't completely hate it, although it's one of my lesser favourite consoles over the last few years, I would say. Well, ever. It's one of my lesser favourites. It's a console I would be less likely to go back to than many others, I would say.
Yet just behind us over here, you have a massive collection of Xbox games.
Yes, but the reason why I have a massive collection of Xbox games is because they're completely worthless. I could pick them up for a bloody £1 each, so no one clearly likes the original Xbox.
But if they're worthless, you're still paying money for them. Why?
I'm paying £1 for them, and because, like I said, there's games amongst there to be played and to be enjoyed. However, it's not so much the fact that the Xbox doesn't have good games, because it very much does. Especially many Sega games. There's a lot of good Sega games on the platform. However, like I said, it isn't the library what I don't like on the Xbox, it's the narrative it pushed. It was basically the first console ever what was not made essentially to chase the arcade. It was made to chase the PC. It was basically a low budget. It was basically what would you call it? A low grade way of to essentially play PC style games. I'd say.
Why is that a bad thing? Because PC gaming can be very, very expensive. So why not have a way of doing that isn't going to cost, you know, mortgage money?
Because for a while, like I said, it pushed a trend in gaming which I did not enjoy. For a while, I started to believe that I was actually growing out of gaming altogether. So, because especially due to the fact that the original Xbox came out when I was 16 years old, so I kind of became a man the same year the original Xbox came out. So I thought, obviously, games must be for children because I don't like all this Halo, Splinter Cell nonsense. It's grey, it's boring, it's ugly, and it seems to be these are the games that everyone else is enjoying. However, here I am, over in the dark, not getting the same level of pleasure that everyone else is getting from them.
When you say you became a man, do you mean that you went from being a child to a man-child?
No, obviously no. Like I said, I essentially, for a while, for those few years, I did not play that many games. I stopped playing them because I didn't like the direction they was going in.
Right,
I genuinely thought I was going out of gaming. This was until the original Wii came out. When the original Wii came out, and I was playing games like Twilight Princess for the first time, Mario Galaxy, that made me realise that I hadn't grown out of gaming. The market had just become saturated with just certain style games. 2D games had gone. They had been eradicated. The 3D platformer had been eradicated. For a while, gaming became very two-dimensional. This was before the push of all the indie titles as well. It was very much first-person shooter land.
Yeah, but at the time, that was new.
It was boring. It was really, really boring.
Did it get boring for you that quickly?
Yes, instantly. This was my first memory of the original Xbox. I already owned a GameCube, I already owned a PlayStation 2, and I already owned a Dreamcast.
Okay.
And there was one other lad who I went to college with who had all of them and the original Xbox as well. He told me, you need to get yourself an original Xbox 2 because it's got Halo on it. And Halo, according to this young gentleman, was even better than GoldenEye. So I went into buying that console with an unrealistic expectation that Halo was going to blow my mind and that it was going to be like nothing I'd ever played before. And playing it, it didn't feel as enjoyable to me as I had played GoldenEye, and it put me off first-person shooters for a long time.
You see, Halo did blow my mind.
Really?
I loved that game. I really did. I really enjoyed it.
It was terrible. I hated it.
I had me, and there was like 6 or 7 of us all in the same room, all in my living room, playing Halo, and we take it in turns playing 4-player, split screen, and just focusing on that game for hours and hours and hours. And I really got a lot of enjoyment out of that game.
I'd say it's pretty common these days for many people to say, "Ugh, Halo, it's rubbish," like that. That's a very common thing to say. But at the time, when I basically said I don't like Halo, I think it was rubbish. That was my first controversial gaming opinion, I suppose. It was my first opinion that was against the grain somehow.
And obviously that's grown considerably now.
Yes, I've realised that all people are different.
Yeah.
They really are.
And if they're not like you, you don't like them.
Exactly, they must be crushed.
Okay, so you didn't like Halo.
Hated it, absolutely hated it.
What did you like? There must be a redeeming feature, because you are good at this. You can find redeeming features in stuff that...
On the original Xbox?
Yeah, there must be.
To be honest, like I said, I wasn't playing as many games over that time period as perhaps some others. I genuinely felt like I'd grown out of it between the time I was 16 and 20. I was focused on other things instead, like alcohol, for example, and lowbrow stuff like that. I wasn't that interested in playing games. However, the small time I would spend playing games was mainly on the Game Boy Advance and the odd GameCube game here and there as well, and even a lot of those disgusted me, like Star Fox Adventure. It looked pretty, but when you actually tried to play, it was bloody awful. I hated that whole period in gaming. Oh,
I love Star Fox Adventures. I actually want to go back and play it now. Now you've said it.
Oh my god! Like literally, even the better games over that period. Like I said, I liked the GameCube games, and I didn't even like those either. Mario Sunshine, the worst freaking Mario game. Oh my god! I just hated that period.
That I can agree with you. I hate Sunshine.
I just hated that period in gaming, and it was the original Xbox that basically like I said, it changed the direction, because up until the Dreamcast, the direction of gaming was we need to compete with the arcade. The closer we can get to the arcade, the better. Whereas the Dreamcast reached that level where it was pretty much equal to what was going on in the arcade at the time. So after that, they needed something new to chase, and the original Xbox essentially began to chase the PC.
But the original Xbox also, another thing that they did was they focused very hard on multiplayer games and getting people back round playing together, but not necessarily in the same room.
But what's the point? The PC already existed. You could already do that. People was having LAN parties with Doom years before that. So it brought nothing new. I don't understand why people wanted to do something they could have already done anyway. Why?
Being able to do that considerably cheaper, which we said about before.
Oh, yes, but it was still the most expensive games console by a country mile.
It was.
And to be fair, most of its library was identical to the PlayStation 2. So in a way, it was like the PlayStation 2, but with a lot less choice. Would you agree with that? The PlayStation 2 was a quarter as powerful as the original Xbox, but you could just do so much more with it. So much more.
What more could you do?
What more could you do? Like I said, just a massive library. A huge library with thousands upon thousands of games, whereas I believe the original Xbox had less than 800, I think.
But it did birth competition. It birthed new competition into the market.
What, the PlayStation 2?
The PlayStation 2 and the Xbox. If the Xbox didn't exist, there wouldn't be any competition.
Well, I believe
for Sony.
If the Xbox never turned up on the scene, Sega would possibly still be around today.
Sega was on its last legs when the Xbox came out. It was practically dead at the time.
It wasn't nearly dead. Basically, the Dreamcast was selling very, very well, but with from what I hear, with the announcement of the PlayStation 2, many people waited to get the PlayStation 2, and a lot of people converted from the Dreamcast to the PlayStation 2. Yeah. However, who's to say, if Microsoft never jumped into the market, that they wouldn't have just released another console with the Dreamcast 2? Because the Dreamcast didn't do terribly. They would have possibly gone back in for another go.
Possibly. I mean, there's a chance. But what do you think Sega would have brought anything different to the market than Xbox did? Would it be that much different, or would they have gone a very similar route?
Who knows? But we do know that Sega, in terms of games, was a lot more innovative than what Microsoft have brought to the table over the years. Like, there's a lot more quirky Sega titles than you will ever find actual games produced by Microsoft. What quirk did they bring? Like, I personally don't think there's a lot. They innovated the first-person shooter genre somewhat.
Yeah.
That's it, as far as I can see. And that's probably a very ignorant thing to say, I will admit that, because, like I said, yes, even today, the Xbox One, what is there really going on it? What's exclusive?
Not enough. Not enough. That is one of the biggest problems with the Xbox. I just
feel ever since Microsoft have been in the market, they've pretty much been like kind of going forward the same as Sony. Like, those two systems have been pretty much exactly the same as each other. They've been trying to compete with each other, but the only way they seem to be able to compete with each other is by being exactly the same. Yeah,
it is very backwards and forwards, and I do understand what you're saying there. It does make some sense, but again, like, I have a lot of fond memories of the Xbox. Some of the games on the Xbox I really enjoyed.
Console gaming, it's just been so much more boring ever since they've been involved in the market. Prior to their existence, it was just a lot more interesting and even innovative overall, I would say.
It has moved very linearly Is that a word?
Yes.
Is that a word? Can I say that?
Yes, you may. And as much as I regularly take the mickey out of Nintendo on this channel, at least they're doing something slightly different most of the time, which makes gaming kind of interesting.
But do you not think that, although it does move very linearly, that's due to the people that are buying it? If it's successful and it's selling, of course they're going to make more of it.
Of course.
Why would you stop selling something and try and do something different if it works?
Agreed. I completely agree. That's why I said I always have to put the blame in the hands of the consumers as well. And like I said, during that period, I genuinely thought I'd grown out of gaming because so many consumers seem to be completely happy with what was on offer.
So Top Hat Gaming says it's your fault.
Yes, and I'm sure there will be many people in the comment section who refer to me as a silly hipster.
Yes.
Would you not agree?
Yeah, you do look like one. A little bit.
Does that look like a hipster? No.
You're just a pair of glasses away from full-blown hipster.
This says the man wearing
Comfortable,
a beanie hat.
Comfortable attire.
Beanie hat.
Comfortable attire.
Beanie hat.
Top hat.
All you need is a bloody septon ring. Is that what they're called? Is that the word?
I suppose I'm just jealous because I'm still trying to earn mine.
You are indeed. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think in the comment section. Did you like the Xbox, the original Xbox? Is that what we want to call it?
That
the
way,
original
yeah,
Xbox?
yeah, the original Xbox.
So what was the point of this video again? We was arguing, wasn't we? We were debating about. So what questions should we ask them to bring to the table?
What were your favourite games on the Xbox that you couldn't play anywhere else? What do you think that Xbox did differently to anything else? Do you think that Sega would have released a second console, and would it have been exactly the same as the Xbox if they had bothered to try?
And by the way, just because someone will want to point it out in the comment section if we don't bring it up, Sega actually contributed somewhat to the development of the original Xbox, and Microsoft added to the development of the Dreamcast. Do you know this?
I had a vague idea of that.
Okay, but I'm not going to go into detail on that because I want to make a whole standalone video about it on my channel, a really in-depth one. But yes, the most important issue is who's right in this debate? Who's wrong? Let us know who you are siding with in the comment section. Yeah. Cheerio!